Don't let my sweater fool you. It is supposed to get up to 85 degrees Fahrenheit today. And I thought that that would be a really good opportunity to talk about some size inclusive summer knitting options. Hello, hi, how are you? My name is Kayla and I am a stay-at-home mom, also knitter based out of Maine, which is the northeastern point of the contiguous United States. All of these tops are designed using non-animal fibers, and the measurements listed are for the measurement of the garment itself, not the bust of the person that is wearing it. Up first, we have the Bamboo Breeze Top by Lost Stitch Designs. This is a top-down tank top with a little bit of texture work included. It is knit using a DK weight yarn with a full bust measurement of 72 inches. And I think that the ease of the texture combined with the look of it makes this a really, really good option for a beginner or someone that just wants to venture into knitting garments, because you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with the techniques that you're using. The Petite Pointelle tank is probably the most popular pattern on this list, designed by Jessie Maed. It's taken Ravelry's Hot Right Now page by storm, and for good reason. It's incredibly cute, very trendy. Jessie Maed does wonderful, wonderful work in terms of not only ensuring that the measurements are size inclusive, but that the fit is size inclusive as well. So when you go into a pattern by Jessie Maed, you know that you are going to end up with something that not only feels good on your body, but looks really good and makes you feel really nice and confident. So this pattern is made with sport weight yarn. It goes up to 66 inches in the bust. We've got the Lido by Paul Hasemeyer. This is one that I'm incredibly excited about. It is a unisex design with a full bust measurement going up to 68.5 inches. It's knit on DK weight yarn and it is all over lace. So it is definitely a statement piece. It's not something that I would consider for the faint of heart. The pattern designer actually notes in the pattern that it is for an experienced knitter. So I think that that's something that could be like a white whale design, kind of like my own personal Moby Dick, if I may be so blunt. This next pattern is the Orion, I believe, by Lisa Richardson Designs. Now, this is a fingering weight design. It is also color work, so it's not necessarily going to be a quick, easy summer knit, but I'm sure you can agree, it is absolutely stunning. It is so cool. It is knit from the bottom up with side seams, and the bust measurement goes up to 63.25 inches. I had not actually seen color work designed specifically for summer before I started looking into things for this video, and then I found a bunch of it. So I don't know if that's something that's new and trendy or if I've just been living under a rock, but I'm here for it. I am so excited. The Cosmos Top by Kayla Baldwin is another fingering weight design, but the gauge is a lot looser for that one. This is another one that is knit from the bottom up with this really fun floral dip stitch pattern. Bust measurement goes up to 70 inches. So again, incredibly size inclusive. This one I do believe is actually intended to be knit with animal fibers, but because of the looseness of the gauge, I wouldn't be too worried about it being really hot and stuffy or anything like that. Well, this next one is not technically size inclusive because it only goes up to 59 inches around the bust. I did want to include it because it is a free Ravelry download, and I think it's still a good resource. It is the Marseille top by Ellen Ferderer, knit on sport weight yarn, going, like I said, up to 59 inches around the full bust. It is a button-down vest, sleeveless cardigan, top, whatever you would like to call it, with an all-over texture that I think is really fun and really interesting. She actually has a couple of free Ravelry downloads that I would recommend looking into. Her designs are really classy and really elegant. I do wish that she could just make them a couple of inches bigger to be truly size inclusive. The Magnolia top is another one that technically, if you take the full bust measurement, is not size inclusive because it only goes up to 59.8 inches. but it is a top designed with negative ease, and I think does fall into the size inclusive category. It is knit with fingering weight yarn, held double. Specifically, she uses silk, but I'm confused by the construction because the attributes on Ravelry list that it's done in the round, but it looks seamed. So I'm not sure if that's a false seam along the side to reinforce the fabric, because silk is pretty delicate. It's pretty soft. Up next, we have another pattern by Jessie Made Designs. This is the freshwater tank, knit in fingering weight yarn, going up to 60 inches around the bust. And honestly, when I was scrolling through these, I thought that this tank top looked boring. I wrote it down. I was like, okay, it counts. We'll go ahead and include it. But looking back on it, I think this might be one of the things that I am the most excited to cast on for summer. It's such a beautiful, basic piece of clothing that could go in your wardrobe, and you can just wear it every single day. I think when we talk about elevated basics, this is exactly what I'm picturing, to the point that I didn't even realize that I liked it because I thought it was so basic at first glance. But it's got this really, really pretty detailing around the ribbing on the collar and around the body. The hem of it has got a really interesting shape and construction. So just, again, Jessie Made, knocking it out of the park. There's a reason that they are as popular of a designer as they are, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The Afterglow by Quail Studio is a fisherman's rib tank top. The design is shown in both a DK weight cotton and a mohair held double option. I'm sure you can guess which one I would recommend for a summer tank top. The bust measurement for the Afterglow goes up to 62 inches. Another design by Quail Studio is the Sand Lily tank top. This is a tank top that has lace work going all the way up and down it in such a pretty way. I understand why it's called Sand Lily, because it really does look like flowers in the sand. Anyway, Sand Lily is knit in DK weight yarn with a bust measurement going up to 63 and going up to 65.25 inches. Rowan must have released a magazine or something that included a lot of these patterns, because they had a big chunk of really, really, really nice summer designs come out right at the same time. I probably could look into it and figure out what magazine. This next one I just think is so cool. The blue that the designer used for the sample is incredible. The really nice geographic, why did I say that? The really nice geometric pattern in the front, I'm incredibly drawn to. The cables in summer, yes, please sign me up. Anyway, this is the Tides top by Martin Story, and it is knit in DK weight yarn with a bust measurement going up to 64 inches. These next three patterns are all by the same designer, and I genuinely enjoy all of them. Earlier, I was talking about how I was suddenly seeing a lot of color work for summer, and this is why. This is why I'm saying that. Up first, we've got the Cortado by Chloe Thurlow. This is knit in DK weight yarn going up to 64 inches around the full bust. It is a colorwork top, knit bottom up in the round. I'm obsessed with it. Sticking to the coffee theme, we've got Espresso by Chloe Thurlow. This is another one that's knit in DK weight yarn with a bust measurement going up to 66.5 inches. This one's really cool though, because you have the option to do either a V-neck or a crew neck for that vest. The Teasel vest by Chloe Thurlow is knit bottom up as well. It gives kind of a checkerboard design using the eyelet sections and the non-eyelet sections, which I think is really, really cool. Knit in DK weight yarn, it goes up to a full bust measurement of 64 inches. Last but definitely not least by Chloe Thurlow, this is probably my favorite. The Yarrow vest is a fingering weight color work vest that just has such a cool design on it that it was really hard for me not to include it, even though I've talked about literally 4 of her patterns at this point. It reminds me of lemon zest, you know, or like a lemon peel for a cocktail, but anyway, whatever. It's a fingering weight pattern. It is bottom up, crew neck. It has a full bust measurement of almost 64 inches as well. So it's definitely not going to be a fast pattern. It's not a quick and easy summer knit, but I do think that it would be worth it. And I really want to cast it on. Another busy lady, Miss Lisa Richardson. I think this is the last pattern of hers that I've got on the roundup, but this is the cornflower tank top. It's got these really chunky straps, which I think are interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about the way those straps transition into the triangle tank top. It looks kind of bunchy, but I don't know. I'm not going to judge it too hard. This is knit in fingering weight yarn with a full bust measurement of 64.5 inches. Another one that's knit bottom up. So I'm wondering if that's why it's got that kind of like, I'm not going to lie, I think it's kind of a weird puckering effect right underneath the armpit. But I wanted to talk about it because it is still a really beautiful pattern. And maybe it's just a weird angle on the model. I don't know. Apparently I was really excited about this next one because my notes have a bunch of exclamation marks. This is the Daffodil pattern by Florence Sperling. It is knit in fingering weight yarn with a full bust measurement of 63.25 inches. It's got texture, it's got color work, it's got lace at the bottom with a little bit of ribbing detail, and that's where all of those exclamation marks were coming from because I was excited about the combination. The Rita Quilted Top by Rita Dowd probably does qualify as a quick summer knit. Knit with worsted weight yarn, you get 18 stitches for 4 inches, so it's definitely going to work up a lot faster than almost anything else that I've talked about so far. But she uses moss stitch, stockinette, and reverse stockinette to create this really pretty textured quilted effect. The full bust measurement goes up to 69.25 inches. I think this is actually a really beginner-friendly option. I think the fact that it uses nothing but knits and purls to create all of that texture would make it not only really interesting, but motivating for somebody that's got a lower skill set or a newer skill set. This next one is also knit in worsted weight yarn. It's a very classic silhouette with a high V front, lace detailing around the bottom. This is the Jolie tank top by Aisha Bukta, and its full bust measurement goes up to 70 inches. So another incredibly size inclusive option that I don't think would take very long to make. The Amaryllis tank by Mel Kennedy falls back into that really classic, elevated basic. It's knit in sport weight yarn with a bust measurement going up to 70.25 inches with 11 sizes involved, or with 11 sizes included. So not only does it have a pretty high number that it goes up to, it also has a high amount of increments so that you can find the best fit within that size range. The Dove tank by Wan Cheng Fua technically does not fall into the size inclusive category if we go on the actual bust measurement going up to 59.8 inches. But it is designed with negative ease and therefore falls into that size inclusive category as far as I am concerned. It's a fingering weight pattern that is knit from the top down, and I think it's incredibly versatile, so it is one that I wanted to include in this roundup. According to Google, this next one is pronounced C. This is by Melania Hami. It is knit in DK weight yarn, and it has a full bust measurement of almost 74.5 inches. So incredibly size inclusive. She uses mohair, but I think that if you switched that to an animal fiber and took into account the fact that it would have less memory, so you would want to go with a bit more negative ease, maybe a tiny bit of a tighter gauge. I don't know. I love this. I love it. I couldn't not include it. The lace detailing at the bottom is incredible. The size range is incredible. I know technically it is designed for spring, but I really do believe that with a couple of tweaks, you could put it in other parts of your wardrobe as well. Guys, I'm almost done. I'm flabbergasted that neither of my kids have woken up. Now that I say that, they will. But anyway, this This next one is the Hammond, again by Paul Hasemeyer. This is a cardigan that I think I need to cast on before we get into summer. It is another worsted weight option, so it will work up relatively quickly. That's a 18 stitches for 4 inches. It uses lace and eyelets to create a checkerboard effect similar to the vest that we had talked about earlier, but it's definitely a little bit more involved than that vest was. It is knit bottom up, which is a little bit scary. It is another unisex design, and the full bust measurement goes up to 73.5 inches. So the very last thing that I want to talk about is actually a dress. Well, she knits it using mohair and animal fiber. I do think that, just like the other one we had talked about, if you took into consideration the difference in yarns, you could swap out a natural fiber and create yourself a nice little summer dress. I think the shaping is great. I think the width of the straps covering a bra, great, wonderful. Anyway, this is the cranberry knit dress by Maiden Leah S, knit in a DK weight yarn with a full bust measurement of 59.5 inches. I know, this is like the 5th time I've said it. Technically it is not size inclusive based on the full bust measurement, but a bird just flew into my window. Oh my god, that was so scary. He's fine, he flew away, but that was terrifying. And on that note, we are all done. Thank you if you stuck around. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes of your day listening to me talk. Hopefully you found something exciting that you would like to cast on soon. Oh, I am so excited to see what else people are releasing for the summer. Even since I started researching for this video, I have seen so many designers coming out with new patterns, and I'm sure that'll just ramp up as we continue into these warmer months. I know Sari Nordland has a couple that she just put out that I think are gorgeous. I'm just thrilled. I'm so excited for summer. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Hopefully I will see you around again soon. Bye.